You know, in all my cycles serving aboard the Crimson Talon, I never thought I would be the one to file the incident report that would make me the laughingstock of 3 galactic quadrants. But here we are, so let me tell you exactly how one single human female turned our state-of-the-art warship into what the younglings now call a floating disaster. My name is Varan. I am, or was, the tactical officer on board the finest vessel in the Krath Empire's Third Fleet. Notice I said was.
Past tense?
Because after what happened, well, let's just say my career took what you humans might call a nosedive. It started on what should have been a routine patrol. Boring. Predictable. The kind of shift where you hope anything breaks the monotony. Be careful what you wish for, right? The sensor operator, a jumpy little fellow named Pix, suddenly perked up at his console. Sir, I am detecting a small craft. Unknown configuration. It just dropped out of faster-than-light travel approximately 40,000 spans from our position. Commander Threx, a massive wall of scales and terrible decision-making, leaned forward in his command chair. Tiny, sir. Maybe 10 meters long. Single-occupant life sign. Now here is where I should have known something was wrong. The ship was small, yes. Insignificant-looking, absolutely. But it had just performed a faster-than-light jump that our sensors barely caught. That meant technology. Good technology. Did we stop to think about that? No, we did not. Excellent. Threx rumbled, and I could practically see the credits dancing in his eyes. Salvage rights. Bring us alongside, Pix. Scan for weapons. Pix's fingers danced across his console. No energy signatures consistent with weapons, sir. No shields active. The craft appears to be, well, dead in the water, sir. Perfect. Threx stood up, all 2.5 meters of him. Vorn, assemble a boarding team. Let us see what prize has wandered into our claws today. I should mention something about the Krath. We are not, strictly speaking, pirates. We prefer the term aggressive salvage specialists. The Empire looks the other way as long as we share the profits and do not hit anything too important. It is a good life. Or it was. I gathered 5 of my best troops. Dren, Kos, Yelva, Mort, and Gix. Good soldiers. All of them. Strong, trained, experienced. We had done this 100 times before. Board the vessel, secure the occupant, claim the ship, split the profits. Simple. We suited up, checked our plasma rifles, and cycled through the airlock. The small craft was right there, maybe 20 meters away, just floating. It was an odd design. All smooth curves and what looked like ceramic plating. No markings I recognized. No visible weapons ports. No nothing. North at Talon. Beginning approach. Acknowledged, came Threx's voice through my helmet comm. Try not to damage the merchandise. Dren fired a magnetic tether, and it clamped onto the hull with a satisfying thunk. We reeled ourselves over, boots clanging against the craft's surface. Up close, I could see the construction was beautiful. Actually, seamless. The kind of engineering that cost serious money. Finding an entry point, Kos reported, running a scanner along the hull. Here. Hatch. Standard docking configuration. Surprisingly, we attached our portable airlock collar and cycled it. The hatch opened with a hiss. Not forced. Not damaged. It just opened. Like it was inviting us in. Red flag number 2. I ignored it. The interior was cramped, designed for someone smaller than us. We had to duck, move single file. Soft lighting illuminated a cockpit area with a single seat, some kind of control panel that looked more like art than thinkic, and there she was, sitting in the pilot's chair. Calm, relaxed, human. Now I had heard of humans. Everyone had. They were the new kids in the galactic community. Showed up about 20 cycles ago, made a bit of noise, joined a few treaties, nothing special. They were soft, weak. No claws, no natural armor, no venom. Their home world had gravity so light we considered it barely habitable. They were, in short, harmless. This particular human was female. I think. Short compared to us, maybe 1.5 meters tall. She had dark skin, darker than any Krath I had ever seen, and these tight curls of black hair pulled back from her face. She wore a simple flight suit, gray and unmarked. No weapons visible. No armor. She was reading something on a data tablet and did not even look up when we entered. Greetings, I said, trying to sound official. This vessel has been claimed under Krath's salvage law. You will surrender yourself and your ship without resistance. She kept reading for another 3 seconds. 3 whole seconds. Then she set the tablet down gently, carefully, like she had all the time in the universe, and looked at us with these dark brown eyes that showed absolutely zero fear. None. Not even a flicker. No, she said. Just that, one word. No. Dren laughed. Actually laughed. Small creature, there are 6 of us and 1 of you. Your ship is disabled. You have no weapons. Be reasonable. She smiled then. Not a friendly smile. Not scared. Something else. Something that made my combat instincts, honed over decades, suddenly scream at me to back away. My ship is not disabled, she said, voice soft, almost gentle. I am waiting for my coffee to finish brewing. And I count 6 targets, not 6 problems. Would you like to reconsider your approach? Enough, I said, raising my rifle. You are coming with us, now. She sighed. Actually sighed, like we were being unreasonable. My name is Lieutenant Commander Nia Foster, Earth Defense Force, Reconnaissance Division. This is your one warning. Leave my ship, return to yours, and forget you saw me. I am having a very long day and I would prefer not to add paperwork to it. Yelva started forward, reaching for her. Listen, little soft thing. You do not give us orders. And that right there was the moment everything went sideways. Nia Foster moved. I have seen fast before. I have fought stealth warriors who could cross 10 meters in a heartbeat. I have trained against combat drones programmed with inhuman reflexes. This human made them all look like they were moving through mud. 1 second she was sitting. The next, she was not. Yelva's hand closed on empty air. Nia was already behind her, and there was this sound, this crack, and Yelva just dropped out cold. The human had struck her in some specific point on the neck. I could not even see how. 1. Nia said quietly. Dren roared and swung his rifle like a club. She ducked under it, impossibly fast, and drove her palm into his knee. Sideways. Knees do not bend sideways. His did. He went down screaming. 2. Kalk got a shot off, actually pulled the trigger. The plasma bolt went wide because Nia had already moved, flowing like water, and her hand chopped into his wrist. I heard bones break. The rifle clattered away, and she kicked him, not hard, just precise, into Gix, and they both went down in a tangle. 3 and 4. Mort was smart. He dropped his rifle and ran for the airlock. She let him go. That left me. Just me. Standing there with my rifle pointed at her, and she was looking at me with those calm, dark eyes, not even breathing hard. I really do not want to hurt you, she said. But I will if you make me. Your choice. My hands were shaking. I am not ashamed to admit it. I had just watched this tiny, soft-looking creature dismantle my team in under 9 seconds. 9 seconds. And she was not even armed. What are you? I whispered. She tilted her head. Tired, annoyed, and out of coffee because your friends interrupted the brewing cycle. Now drop the rifle. I dropped it. Smart. Now here is what is going to happen. You are going to take your friends. You are going to return to your ship, and you are going to leave. If you do that, I will pretend this never happened. If you do not, well, she smiled again. That not friendly smile. I have been trained in 347 ways to disable, incapacitate, or kill sentient beings. And I have not even used 5 of them yet. We clear. Crystal clear, I managed. Good. Help me get them to the airlock. I did. What else could I do? Dren was crying, holding his ruined knee. Yelva was still unconscious. Gus was cradling his broken wrist. Jix had a bloody nose. We dragged them through the cramped corridor and into our portable airlock. Nia watched us go, leaning against the doorframe. Oh, and Vortal, your commander, that the next ship that bothers me does not get a warning. They get a missile. I have 6 of them, and they are rated for capital ship hulls. Have a nice day. The hatch closed, sealed. We cycled back to the Talon in silence. Commander Threx was waiting in the airlock bay, looking confused. What happened? Where is the occupant? I took off my helmet, looked him right in his superior's smug face. Sir, we need to leave. Now. Right now. Explain yourself. So I did. I told him everything. The human, the speed, the precision, the threat, all of it. He listened, and his face went from confusion to disbelief to something like horror. One human did this. One unarmed human female. Yes, sir, that is impossible. With respect, sir, go board that ship yourself if you do not believe me. He did not. Instead, he turned to Pix. What do the sensors say about that craft now? Pix was pale. Well, paler than usual. Sir, I am now detecting 6 missile tubes, and then they are targeting us. Locked on. She has a firing solution. Trex's voice was very small. All ahead full. Get us out of here. The Talon's engines roared to life. We turned and burned, faster than light drive spooling up. As we jumped away, I caught one last sensor glimpse of that small, beautiful ship, just floating there peacefully. And I swear I could feel her laughing at us. 3 days later, I was sitting in a debriefing room on our home station. The incident report had gone up the chain, way up the chain, and now I was explaining again what happened to a very unimpressed admiral named Korthas. Let me make sure I understand, he said, voice dripping with sarcasm. You, a decorated tactical officer with 40 cycles of service, are telling me that you and 5 trained soldiers were defeated by a single human who was not even armed. Yes, sir. In 9 seconds. 9 seconds, sir. And she let you live. She was very clear about that, sir. She said it was a courtesy. Korthas leaned back. Do you have any idea how this makes the Kroth look? We are supposed to be fierce warriors, conquerors, and we ran from one tiny alien. A very dangerous tiny alien, sir. So you say. Unfortunately, we cannot verify your claims because by the time we sent a proper task force to investigate, the ship was gone. Vanished. No trace. I nodded. I had expected that. What I can verify, Korthas continued, is that Dren will never walk properly again. Kuls's wrist required 3 surgeries, and Yelva still gets headaches. From what our doctors describe as, quote, a precisely targeted strike to a nerve cluster we did not even know existed until they examined her. Yes, sir, which means either you are telling the truth, or you staged the most elaborate excuse for a failed boarding action in military history. I waited. Korthas sighed. You are being reassigned. Desk duty. Far from any humans. Consider yourself lucky I am not throwing you in the brig for gross incompetence. Yes, sir, thank you, sir. Dismissed. I stood saluted, and left. As I walked through the station, I could hear the whispers. See the stairs. Everyone knew. The whole fleet knew. Ron, who ran from a human. But here is the thing. Here is what none of them understood, what the Admiral did not get, what the reports and the debriefings could not convey. It was not about pride or honor or fear. It was about recognition. I looked into Lieutenant Commander Nia Foster's eyes, and I saw something that terrified me on a level I had never experienced before. I saw a predator. A real one. Not like the Krath, who pretend to be dangerous. Not like the Skelth, who train for combat. A creature that was born, bred, and built to hunt. Humans, we learned, evolved on a death world. That part we knew. What we did not know, what nobody bothered to tell us, was that they were not the strongest thing on that world. They were not the fastest. Not the most venomous, not the most armored. They were the smartest, the most adaptable, the persistence hunters who would chase their prey for days until it collapsed from exhaustion. They did not need claws when they invented knives, did not need venom when they invented guns, did not need armor when they invented tactics. And they had been doing it, fighting and killing and surviving for millions of years before they even discovered fire. Nia Foster was a soldier of Earth, trained by a species that had clawed its way to the top of a food chain that would have killed most spacefaring races in a week. And she had been. What did she say? Trained in 347 ways to kill. 347. That they bothered to categorize and teach. I went to my new posting, a quiet monitoring station in the Outer Rim, and I did my job, and I tried not to think about it. But sometimes, late at night, I would wonder how many humans were out there. Wonder how many lieutenant commanders like Nia Foster the Earth Defense Force had. Wonder what would happen if someone was stupid enough to actually threaten their homeworld. And then I would remember her smile. That calm, predatory smile. And I would be very, very glad that the Krath Empire had strict orders to maintain friendly relations with Earth. 6 months after the incident, a message came through official channels, eyes only for me. I opened it with shaking hands. It was from her, Nia Foster. Just 3 sentences. Hello. Vortharn. Sorry about your friends. The coffee was excellent. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I deleted it, scrubbed it from the system and tried to forget about it. But I never did. Because somewhere out there, in the vast darkness of space, humans were flying around in their fast, beautiful ships, with their soft skin and their clever minds and their 347 ways to kill, and they were just waiting, patient as always, for someone to make the mistake of underestimating them again. Someone would. Someone always does. Humans looked weak, harmless, easy prey, until you looked into their eyes and realized the truth. They were not prey. They never had been. They were the hunters. And we were all living in their territory now, whether we knew it or not. I know it. I will never forget it, because I was there the day a human arrived quietly, and 9 seconds later, I saw what the rest of the galaxy refuses to believe. I saw a monster, and she let me live to tell the tale. You would think that after what happened, after the debriefing and the reassignment and the whispers, that I would be done with humans, that the universe would take pity on old Vorthan and let him fade into obscurity at his monitoring station. You would think that, and you would be completely, utterly, catastrophically wrong. Because 6 months and 12 days after I met Lieutenant Commander Nia Foster, I found myself face to face with humans again. Only this time, there were a lot more of them. And the circumstances were, shall we say, significantly worse. Let me back up. My monitoring station, Station Kelva 9, sat at the edge of Krath space. Boring assignment. Quiet. We tracked shipping lanes, recorded passing vessels, filed reports that nobody read, perfect for someone whose career had been in the polite terminology, reposition. My crew was small, 8 of us total. There was Hux, the communications specialist who talked too much. Brill, who ran our sensors and talked too little. Tark, our engineer who could fix anything but could not fix his gambling problem. And 5 others whose names do not matter because, well, you will see, it was a normal rotation. I was reviewing supply manifests, trying not to die of boredom, when Brill made a sound I had never heard before, sort of a choking, gasping noise. Sir, he managed. Sir, you need to see this. I walked over to his console, looked at the display, looked again. That cannot be right. I ran 3 diagnostics. It is right. On the sensor display, approaching our station at high velocity, was a fleet. Not a Krath fleet. Not any fleet I recognized. 27 vessels, ranging from small corvettes to what looked like a battle cruiser that massed more than anything in our navy. And they were broadcasting identification codes that made my blood freeze. Terran Defense Coalition. Humans. Hux. Give me command. Now. Already trying, sir. The communication relays are. They are jammed. Something is blocking our transmissions. What? How? Brill pointed at his screen. They are doing it. Active signal interference on all standard frequencies. We are cut off. I stared at the approaching fleet. They would be in weapons range in less than 10 minutes. Can we run? Tark shook his head. Our drive is in maintenance cycle. We are stationary for another 6 hours minimum. Of course we were. Because the universe has a sense of humor, and I am the punchline. Sir, Brill said quietly. They are hailing us. Put it through. The display flickered, and a human face appeared. Male this time. Older than Nia Foster had been, maybe 50 cycles, if I understood human aging correctly. He had gray hair cut very short, dark skin several shades lighter than hers, and eyes that looked tired but sharp. Very sharp. He wore a uniform, black with silver insignia, and behind him I could see what was clearly a warship bridge bustling with activity. Krath monitoring station, he said, and his voice was calm, professional, almost friendly. I am Admiral Marcus Bell, Terran Defense Coalition, 5th Expeditionary Fleet. We have no hostile intent toward your facility, but we require your cooperation. You are ordered to stand down all defensive systems and await boarding. I found my voice. Admiral, this is Officer Voran, Station Commander. We are a civilian monitoring post. We have no defensive systems worth mentioning. What is the meaning of this? Bell's expression did not change. We are pursuing a vessel that passed through this sector 3 hours ago, a stolen ship containing sensitive materials. We have reason to believe the thieves may have contacted your station or left evidence of their passage. This is a time-critical situation, Officer Vor. We need your sensor logs. Immediately. We would be happy to transmit our logs. There is no need for a boarding action. Your communication systems are compromised. We cannot trust remote transmission. Hence, boarding. This is not negotiable. Behind him I could see human crew members moving with purpose. Efficiency. They looked professional. Dangerous. Nothing like the soft, harmless species I had been taught about. How many are you sending? I asked, because what else could I do? A full tactical team. 20 soldiers. They will be courteous, efficient, and they will leave as soon as they have what they need. You have my word. 20 human soldiers. I thought about Nia Foster. Thought about 9 seconds. Did the math. It was not encouraging. Understood, Admiral. We will cooperate fully. Smart choice. Bell out. The transmission ended. I turned to my crew. They were all looking at me with varying expressions of fear and confusion. Listen carefully, I said. When they arrive, you will be polite. You will be helpful. You will not, under any circumstances, touch them, threaten them, or give them any reason to you hostile. Am I absolutely clear, sir? Hux ventured. They are just humans. We outnumber them. I laughed. Could not help it. A bitter, slightly hysterical laugh. Hux, do you remember why I am here? Why I got reassigned to this lovely remote posting? Something about a boarding action gone wrong. A boarding action where I watched a single unarmed human female defeat 5 trained Krath soldiers in 9 seconds. 9. So no, Hux, we do not outnumber them. We are simply more numerous targets. Now everyone, lock down your consoles, keep your hands visible and smile. 10 minutes later their shuttle docked. Professional, clean, no wasted movement. The airlocks cycled and they came through. 20 humans, just like Bell had promised. They wore armor, sleek black plates over flexible suits, helmets with dark visors. They carried weapons I did not recognize but which looked very, very effective. They moved like Nia Foster had moved. Smooth, confident, like predators who knew exactly how dangerous they were. The one in front, slightly taller than the others, raised a hand. Station crew, remain where you are. We are conducting a lawful search under coalition emergency protocols. Comply with all instructions and nobody gets hurt. The voice was female. She removed her helmet, and I saw a human woman with pale skin, blonde hair tied back, and green eyes that swept across the room cataloging everything. She looked at me. You are Yes, I am Captain Lyra Hayes. My team will access your sensor logs and communication records. The process will take approximately 30 minutes. You will not interfere. Understood, Captain. She nodded to her team. They spread out with military precision. Half went to our sensor station, the other half took up defensive positions. Professional, no wasted energy. These were not explorers or scientists. These were soldiers, and good ones. I watched as 3 humans began working on Brill's console. Their fingers flew across the interface, navigating our systems faster than I could have done myself. One of them, a young male with dark hair and darker eyes, suddenly stiffened. Captain, I have something. Hayes was there in an instant. Show me. Here. 3 hours and 17 minutes ago. A ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel, stayed just long enough to dump something, then jumped again. Mass suggests a cargo pod. Location of the pod. The station's tractor beams pulled it in. It should be in their cargo bay. Hayes turned to me and her expression had changed. Not angry, not hostile. Something worse. Focused. Officer Vors, did you retrieve a cargo pod approximately 3 hours ago? I thought back. Yes. Standard procedure. Unidentified debris, we bring it in for analysis and potential salvage. It is still in the bay. We have not opened it yet. Take me there. Now. Of course, this way. I led her and 6 of her soldiers through the station corridors to the cargo bay. The pod was there, exactly where we had left it. Maybe 2 meters long, 1 wide, unmarked except for some serial numbers. It looked ordinary, boring. Hayes approached it carefully, pulling out a scanning device. She ran it over the pod's surface, and I saw her jaw tighten. Confirmed. This is it. She tapped her helmet communicator. Hayes to Bell. We have the package. Repeat, we have the package. No signs of tampering. The station crew did not open it. Bell's voice crackled back. Secure it and return immediately. Well done, Captain. Hayes looked at me. You have no idea how lucky you are. What is in it? Nothing you want to know about. Nothing anyone should know about. Weapons research. The kind that violates about 15 different treaties. The people who stole it were going to sell it to the highest bidder, and if they had succeeded, there would be a lot of dead people on several worlds right now. Oh, yeah. Oh, she gestured to her team. Get it on the shuttle. Full containment protocols. 4 soldiers moved forward with specialized equipment. They secured the pod in what looked like a reinforced container, sealed it, and began moving it out. Hayes watched them go, then turned back to me. Your cooperation is appreciated, Officer Voran. Admiral Bell will note it in his report. That should earn you some goodwill with your superiors. Thank you, Captain. She started to leave, then paused. You look familiar. Have we met before? No, but I met another human once. A lieutenant commander, Nia Foster. Hayes's eyebrows rose. You met Nia? Where? When? 6 months ago. My team attempted to board her ship. She discouraged us. For the first time, Hayes smiled. Actually smiled. It was not friendly, but it was not hostile either. It was amused. Let me guess. You and how many others? 5 others. 6 total. And you all survived? She was in a good mood. Hayes laughed. Actually laughed. A genuine, surprised sound. A good mood. Yeah, that sounds like Nia. She is one of our best recon specialists. Spends most of her time flying solo deep in hostile territory. If she lets you walk away, consider it a blessing. Most people who try to board her ship do not get that courtesy. She mentioned she had 347 methods. That was last year. She is up to 406 now. She took a seminar on scalp nerve strikes. I felt my stomach drop. 406. Yep, and Nia is not even in our top 10 deadliest operatives. Hayes's smile widened at my expression. What? You thought she was special? She is good, don't get me wrong. Excellent at her job. But the Defense Force has thousands just like her. Tens of thousands. We train hard because we have to. Our homeworld is not friendly. Never has been. So we learned to fight, or we died. Simple as that. I see. You? I wonder. Hayes tilted her head, studying me. You know what the difference is between your people and mine, Vorthon. You are warriors because you choose to be, because it gives you status and power. We are warriors because we do not have a choice. Every human alive is descended from the ones who fought hard enough, smart enough, vicious enough to survive. It is in our genetics, our culture, our very bones. That is terrifying. Yeah, it is. She put her helmet back on. We will be leaving now. Thank you for your cooperation, and Vorthon. A piece of advice. If you ever see a human ship and you think about boarding it, about taking what is ours, remember today. Remember Nia Foster, and then fly the other way as fast as you can, because the next human you meet might not be in a good mood. They left. All 20 of them, professional and efficient, with their stolen weapons pods secured. I watched their shuttle undock and return to the fleet. Watched the fleet turn and accelerate, vanishing into faster-than-light travel within minutes. The communication jamming stopped. Our systems came back online. Hux immediately started sending reports to command. Brill slumped in his chair. Tark just stared at nothing. I went to my office, closed the door, and sat in the dark for a while thinking. 2 encounters with humans now. 2 times I had seen them up close. And both times I had learned the same lesson. They were not what they appeared, not soft, not weak, not harmless. They were something far worse. They were patient. They were smart. They were trained to a level that made our best soldiers look like children playing at war. And there were billions of them, spread across dozens of worlds, all carrying that same predatory instinct that millions of years of evolution had burned into them. The report I filed was factual and thorough. Admiral Bell had indeed noted our cooperation, and it did earn me some goodwill, not enough to get my old posting back, but enough that the whispers stopped. The stares became less frequent. I was, once again, just another officer doing his job, but I kept thinking about what Captain Hayes had said, about Nia Foster not being in the top 10, about the Defense Force having thousands like her, about humans being warriors because they had to be, not because they chose to be. And I started paying attention to the reports. The intelligence briefings, the news from the border regions, and I started seeing patterns. Human trade missions that traveled through pirate-infested space and arrived unmolested. Human survey teams working in contested zones that somehow never got attacked. Human diplomats negotiating from positions of strength, despite representing one of the younger species in the galaxy. Everyone assumed it was luck, or clever politics, or good timing. But I knew better. I had looked into their eyes, I had seen what they were capable of, and I understood. They were not lucky. They were not clever politicians. They were apex predators, and they had trained every single one of their species to fight like the universe was trying to kill them. Because for millions of years, it had 3 months after the incident with Admiral Bell's fleet, I received another message. This one was official. An invitation to a conference on interspecies cooperation, standard diplomatic nonsense, usually. But the location caught my attention. Earth. They were holding it on Earth, the human homeworld, and they had specifically requested my attendance as a representative of the Krath Empire. Me. Borthan, the officer who had failed a simple boarding action and lived to tell about it, I almost declined.
Almost.
But curiosity got the better of me. I wanted to see it. The world that had produced Nia Foster and Lyra Hayes and thousands more like them. I wanted to understand. The trip took 2 weeks. When we dropped out of faster-than-light travel in the Sol system, I got my first look at Earth, and it took my breath away. It was beautiful. Blue and white and green hanging in the black like a jewel. It looked peaceful, gentle, inviting. And then the escort ships showed up. 6 of them, sleek and fast and bristling with weapons. They did not threaten us. Did not even power up their weapons. They just escorted us in. Professional, courteous. Completely terrifying. The conference was held in a city called Geneva. Old city. Human history stretching back thousands of years. The building was modern. All glass and steel, overlooking mountains that made me dizzy just looking at them. There were representatives from dozens of species. Krath, Skelth, Wren, Pollux, more, all there to discuss trade agreements and mutual defense pacts and other boring political matters. But I was not there for the conference. I was there to watch, to learn, to understand these creatures who looked so harmless and were anything but. I saw human children playing in a park near the conference center, laughing, running. They looked fragile, delicate. Then I watched one of them fall, scrape their knee badly and get up without crying. Just brushed themselves off and kept playing. Tough little thing. I saw human workers constructing a new building, moving materials that should have required power assistance with just their muscles and simple tools. Slow compared to what machines could do, but steady, persistent. I saw human soldiers on patrol. They noticed me watching them. One made eye contact, nodded politely, and kept walking. No hostility, no fear, just acknowledgement, profession. And I realized something that made everything click into place. Humans did not train to be warriors. They did not learn to fight and adapt and persist. They were born that way. It was not something they put on like armor. It was what they were. Fighting and adapting and never giving up was as natural to them as breathing. On my last day there, I was walking through the city when I saw her. Nia Foster. Out of uniform, wearing casual clothes, sitting at an outdoor cafe with a cup of coffee, reading a book. I almost kept walking. Almost. But she looked up, saw me, and smiled. That same not quite friendly smile. Officer Vorson. Small universe. Lieutenant Commander Foster. Just Nia when I am on leave. Sit down. You look like you have questions. I sat. What else could I do? How did you know I was here? Earth is my homeworld. I keep track of who visits, especially people I have met before. She sipped her coffee. So, how have you been? Me doing better. That was not me. That was Dren.
Right. You were the smart one. Dropped your weapon when I told you to. How is he? By the way,
He can walk again. With a cane. Good. I was worried I might have overdone it. Sometimes I forget how fragile some species are. She said it without malice. Just, why did you let us go? She looked at me over her coffee cup. Because you were not evil. You were not trying to hurt anyone. You were just, what did you call it? Aggressive salvage specialists. Pirates with fancy titles. And you made a mistake, boarded the wrong ship, threatened the wrong person. But you did not deserve to die for that. So I educated you instead. Educated. Taught you a lesson. Do not mess with humans. Seems like it stuck. It did. Good. She set down her cup. Look, Voron, I am going to be straight with you. Earth, humanity, we are not looking for enemies. We have enough problems already. But we are also not going to be victims. We spent too long fighting to survive on this little death world to let anyone push us around now that we are out here. So when someone tries, we push back hard. That is just how it is. I understand. Do you? I hope so. Because there are a lot of species out there who still think we are soft, weak, easy targets, and they are going to learn the hard way that they are wrong. I would rather it not be the Krath who learn that lesson. Your people are not bad, greedy, sure, arrogant, definitely, but not bad. There is room in this galaxy for both of us. What if someone does not see it that way? What if someone decides humans are a threat that needs to be eliminated? Her smile vanished. Her eyes went cold. Then they will learn why we survived, why we thrived, why we climbed to the top of the food chain on a world that had bigger, stronger, faster, more dangerous things than us. We are persistence hunters. Vorthan, we do not give up, we do not surrender, and we never ever forget. You can kill 1,000,000 of us, and the rest will just get angry and come back harder. That is what makes us human. I believed her. Looking into those dark eyes, I believed every word. I should go. Probably, but Vorthan. Thanks for sitting with me. It is nice to talk to someone who gets it. Most species still think we are harmless. You know better. I do. Good. Stay safe out there, and if you see any more small ships floating around, maybe just fly past them. Yeah? Yeah. I left Earth the next day, flew back to my monitoring station, filed my reports, continued my quiet, boring life on the edge of Krath space. But I never forgot, never stopped watching the news, never stopped paying attention to what humans were doing. And I was not surprised, not even a little bit, when 20 cycles later some stupid species decided humans were weak, decided to attack a human colony, decided to test Earth's resolve. The war lasted 3 months. 3 months of the attackers learning too late what Netbia Foster had tried to tell me over coffee in Geneva, that humans do not give up, that they adapt, that they fight with a ferocity born of millions of years of survival instinct. 3 months, and then it was over. The attacking species sued for peace, gave reparations, and swore eternal friendship with Earth. And everyone else in the galaxy learned the lesson I had learned years before. Humans might arrive quietly, they might look soft, they might seem harmless, but give them 9 seconds and you will see the truth. You will see the monster, the predator, the survivor. And if you are very, very lucky like I was, they will let you live to tell the tale. I am old now, retired, living on a quiet colony world where nothing interesting ever happens. But sometimes, late at night, I look up at the stars and think about Noya Foster, about Lyra Hayes, about Admiral Bell and all the other humans out there, flying through the darkness with their soft skin and their hard eyes and their unbreakable will. And I smile, because I know something most of the galaxy still does not believe. I know that humanity is not our enemy or our victim. They are our equals. Maybe more than equals, and I am glad, so very glad that they are on our side.